coming, and I gave Haley explicit instructions. I said, they all know I cry at the drop of a hat. I said, so don't make me cry. She said, oh, I won't, not this time. So thank you, Haley, for not making me cry. But my topic that I was given was to be battle ready and how to face challenges with confidence and courage. So I've given you a little trinket, and sorry that I didn't take it out of the plastic, but it was time-consuming enough to just put them in the cute little bag and not give you the little plastic bag. But you'll see it's a set of boxing gloves because you're in a fight and you're going to win. And then it tells you on the boxing gloves to never, never give up. So you're going to hear that quite a bit today in the talk that I'm going to give you. But I always, before I start, I have to thank our staff, and I have to thank the people who work with the media company. Let's give them a round of applause. These guys set up, they're in 4 different rooms, they're in the main stage, and they're just in charge of everything, and they do a great job. And then as you leave and walk throughout the weekend, thank the hotel staff. You know, it's a lot of extra work on them to have any group in. And we always want them to remember our group and how kind and courteous and thoughtful we were. So just be sure to thank them as you pass along too. Most of you know that I'm Andy's wife, and it's by the grace of God that we're still together. And those of you who were at Night Owl last night got a little bit of the real deal. If you weren't there, I'm so sorry. But you can ask somebody that was there, and I want somebody to find out how much money Marvin Osuna got paid to break up the fight last night. But anyway, Andy and I are real people, and if you don't think we are, then you should have been at Night Owl last night. We have been together 41 years and married for 37. 2 beautiful children, as you can tell, which I'm very biased because I birthed them, so of course I'm biased. And 1 beautiful granddaughter, and I hope I have 82 more, but it seems to be going kind of slow. But I don't say anything about it because that's their decision and not mine. So I never, ever say anything to Haley because she's getting pounded now. And even by Andy, I'm like, just leave her alone. When the timing's right, it's right. And I said, if you keep asking her, you may never get one. But I don't think Brandon's going to let that happen. But anyway, not only am I a mom to Haley and Spencer, but I have fur babies. I have 3 dogs, 2 that travel back and forth with us from Florida, and 1 that stays in North Carolina. Reba and Pepper travel back and forth. They're both Australian shepherds, and if you've ever met them, Reba is just like me, calm, quiet, collected most times. Pepper is wide, slam, damn open. I mean, just like Andy. And when Pepper came along to be adopted, I was like, we don't need another dog, because I could see how crazy this dog was. He's like, oh, but he's going to go to the pound if you don't keep him. He'll be my dog. Right. Y'all know whose dog he is. He's my dog. But anyway, it's okay. I love him. I make no bones about it. I told you all last night, I'm a firm believer. One of the questions I got last night was, what are 3 things that you think have put you where you are today? And I made no bones about it. Number 1 was my faith. Number 2 was the relationships that I have established in this room. And number 3 was how I was raised as a child. Those 3 things are my standards, my beliefs, and nothing can shake that ground. I'm sorry. I am the baby of 3, and so I say once the baby, always the baby. And I loved it because I got spoiled rotten. I'm still spoiled rotten. I'm still my mom's favorite. I don't care what my sister says. There's a brother in the middle. He unfortunately passed away at the age of 46 from some health complications from hepatitis that he contracted at a restaurant that went undiagnosed, and then before they could figure out really what was going on, he passed away. So Angie Coleman and I have so much in common. Like when they left, I was so mad with James. Because me and Angie, we had fought the cancer battle. We had brothers that passed away. And he was like taking away one of my best friends. But James, I love you again now. You're back in my good graces. You brought me Angie back. But I am a survivor. And Andy and I got married in 1987. And then in 1990, I just kept having this cough, and Andy says he wasn't sleeping at night because I was coughing. He wasn't sleeping, so I guess he's paying me back now because I'm not sleeping because he's snoring, so I think he's paying me back. But went to the doctor a couple of times, couldn't figure out what was wrong, and finally a woman's doctor said, you know what, I think you need to go for a chest x-ray. So I went over for chest x-ray, and I was at the chest x-ray, and they're like, you know what, we've got the MRI machine open. We're just going to go ahead and send you in for an MRI. And I knew then, I said, something's not right. You don't just go from a chest x-ray to an MRI without an appointment. And sure enough, she said, you have a huge mass in your chest about the size of a basketball. She said, I'm pretty sure it's a type of cancer. I can't tell you what kind. What do you want to do? Well, unbeknowingly enough, my sister, who's older, 5 years older than me, had the same type of cancer when she was 23. We are a study in Duke. There's no other two sisters who've ever been diagnosed with Hodgkin's disease. It's not hereditary. I blame it on growing up on a farm with all the chemicals and stuff, but that's just me. That's my blame. But also, I know that my path was also directed the day I was born. So I just took what I got and went with it. So here we are, newlyweds. I have cancer. I'm a school teacher with a little income. I mean, not much. And Andy's working in a cotton mill. So it's to the point where if I quit my job, we're probably going to lose our house. We'll probably lose our car. And I don't know where we would have been. And he said, what are you going to do? I said, what do you mean what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep working. He's like, how? I said, I'm going to work Monday through Thursday. I'm going to leave Thursday. I'm going to drive to my parents. I'm going to go from my parents, have my treatment on Friday. I'll come back on Sunday. I'll skip work on Monday. I'll work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So it was every other week. So I could work a full week and then do 4 days and then have treatment and come back. Well, ironically, that same year that I was diagnosed of January of 1990, the hospital that I used is Baptist Wake Forest, Bowman Gray School of Medicine, and it's closer to where my parents lived than where we lived, because at the time we were living in Irwin, North Carolina, which is close to Fayetteville. My parents lived close to Danville, Virginia, which is about an hour and 15-minute drive from Baptist, so I took my medical problems to Baptist. And I say ironically because I was diagnosed in January of 90, which put me back at home with my parents quite a bit. Andy never missed a day of work. Just because I got sick didn't mean that he took off and he wasn't sick. We needed the money coming in because not that we were so proud we didn't want to lose everything, but that was just what we decided. We decided that he would keep going, I would keep going as long as I could, and then if it got to a point where I couldn't, we'd figure it out then. But it put me back home with my mom and dad, and just so happened my dad was sick at the time, so it actually gave me almost a whole year of a lot of one-on-one time with my dad before he passed away, because he passed away December of 90, almost a year later, after I had been there a whole year. So I say it's kind of weird how that worked out, because we had a lot of conversations and talks that we wouldn't have had that not happened, because I would have been in Irwin the whole time. 12 chemo treatments, and back then in 1990, when you had chemo, it's not as nice to you back then as it was now. I can probably point out 5 or 10 spots along Interstate 40 that I left a mark on in more ways than one. And then I would come back to my parents' house the Friday after chemo, sleep it off, get up Saturday, hydrate, try to eat, get back in my car, drive myself back to Irwin, go back to work on Monday. And it worked out great. The only time that I missed an extensive amount of work was I had to have 25 days straight radiation. And by this time, I've used all my leave. So what do? If I don't have any leave left, I don't get any pay. Well, back then, I don't know what the deal is now. In the school system, somebody like Adam, who might have extra leave, could give me some of their leave days. So some of the teachers that I had worked with gave me 25 days of leave. So the whole time that I was having radiation, I still got a paycheck. So when they came up for the theme for the weekend and they came up with boot camp, my understanding of boot camp, and I'm not military, I don't have any family that's military, but I have a lot of friends. My understanding of boot camp is that it's a rigorous training to prepare you for the front lines to fight, but not only to fight, but to prepare you to win. So I look at this boot camp in the same way. This is providing you with training to put you on the front lines of your life, to fight for your business, and to come out a winner every single fight. So that's why I came up with the little keychain that you got, because that's your very own set of boxing gloves to remind you you're in your own fight. Yes, you got friends that are come along beside you and fight with you, but you got to fight your own battles. And then if you'll notice the little medallion on it says that you're never, never going to quit. And you know why you're not going to quit? Because you are a soldier. You are designed to fight. Speaking of life getting tough and stuff happening, everybody's got stuff. You wouldn't trade your stuff for my stuff. Everybody's got something. No matter what your situation is, there's somebody's situation who's always worse. I think my situation's bad, and I know what Mercedes has gone through. I think my situation is bad, and I've been on the phone with Debbie Ben at 3 a.m. in the morning. You would never trade your battle or your fight of what you're going through for someone else's. So, talking about things coming along unexpected, I like to remodel things and just kind of tear things up unbeknowingly. So we have a house that's on our property that we had someone to move out of. It's kind of our front yard. And Andy said, he said, we just kind of need to spice that up a little bit. And I said, okay, what do you mean? He said, well, it probably just needs a fresh coat of paint and, maybe redo, put some new appliances in. I said, got it. Well, a lot of money later, I won't tell him how much. This little project has turned into just the cutest little house ever. I'll bring pictures and show them for you in January. But I'm just about to wrap that project up, and I'm like, yes, this is just perfect timing. I can get all my Christmas decorating done. I love Christmas. I put up about maybe 8, sometimes more trees, fully decorated. I love to do it. So I'm thinking I'll get a little break before the holidays, and I can just chill a little bit. And then guess what? I had an unexpected, unwelcomed, uninvited guest to show up in Florida. And she stayed for about 4 hours, and while she was there, she decided it would be nice to leave me anywhere from 4 to 6 feet of sand in my home. So me and Helene are not friends at all anymore. She didn't stay to help clean up. And then, as Holly Davies says, what happened was that she had a boyfriend named Milton. And when she came to Florida without Milton, he got mad because he didn't know what she was doing in Florida without him. So he decides just to show up a week later. Well, thank goodness, he saw the mess that she had already made at my place, and he just tossed things around a little bit, kind of sloshed them around. He did get a tree off the deck. So when he came, his little path was much lighter than hers. But those 2 unwelcome guests now put me back into another project because Andy's like, I ain't got time for that, and he don't, and I get that. And he's not going to do it right. Oh, he's in the room. He ain't going to do it right anyway, so. So I had already gotten in touch with the contractor. He's leaving. I had already been a little bit proactive, and when I saw the storm was pretty much going to hit us, I had already contacted a contractor that had just done a little bit of work for me that I was very happy with, and I said, I know this is probably being a little assumptive, but if this storm hits like it says, I'm sure I'm going to have something done. I don't know what, but can you put me on your list? And he said, absolutely. And after the storm hit, he was the first text I got. He said, perfect timing for you because I'm doing first come, first serve, and you are the first person who texted me. I'm like, yes. So sand removal started this week, and we had moved our cars from our garages. Andy has a nice car. Well, Andy had a nice car. He had a Bentley, very nice Bentley. I'm not into cars, so I have what I call a cheap Jeep, a red Jeep, just a regular Jeep. Well, I have you know, my Jeep is still running. Andy's car is still sitting in a garage, and it's dead, so it's got to be flatbedded out to see if it's going to survive. I mean, it's a nice car, those of you who are into cars. And we're both just like, all right, it's just a car. Yeah, we've lost a lot, but if it doesn't come back to life, we just get another one. And I start to try to think about all the stuff that could be buried in my garages, because I should have showed you pictures, but we had a whole bottom area of our beach home that's beachfront. And we had a big bar out there. We had another side bar that had a big TV here. We had ice makers, coolers, built-in coolers, a green egg, 2 big grills. We had a beach bathroom, so if you were on the beach and needed to use the restroom, you come to the beach bath. We had a washer and dryer down there, so no beach towels ever had to go in the house. Totally covered in sand. And so I'm trying to think, what all was in those garages? What is buried? Well, the guy sent me a picture just a while ago. He said, can this bike be trashed? It was an electric bike of Andy's, probably a $700-800 bicycle. It's already been compromised. It's been saltwater sand. I was like, oh, you lost your bike too. Sorry, you ain't got no wheels. So just as building this business with your spouse or partner, sometimes you're going to be like that sand and you're going to get buried. But fortunately, we have a system here that's proven. And if you'll use that system and the tools that have already been designed, you don't have to go find the shovels or a bobcat. The tools are already there. Just use them. I want you to remember that we all are soldiers. And no matter what happens in your life, like James Coleman said last night, you can't quit. You got to keep going. What's going to happen if you quit? Things aren't going to happen on their own. When I think about being battle ready and facing challenges with courage and confidence, there are many things that come to mind, but I want to share 3 main things with you today. Number 1 is your mindset and your discipline. Number 2 is your preparation and your planning. And number 3 is your supportive network in your community. So the first thing for mindset and discipline, we have a proven system. And I mean, it's so funny how a lot of the speakers are saying the same thing. And y'all, we don't get together before we talk and say, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? But when I talk about the proven system, Robbie Kraft covered every bit of this today. And I can show you right here in my notes. I've got the ARC, NAA University, the carriers, the leads, the leadership that helps and shares. This team will share whether you're on their team or not. The staff, oh my gosh, nobody has a Gina Hawks. Nobody has all those carriers. And I mean, I can name, nobody has a Robbie Kraft. Nobody has a Missy. Nobody has an Amber. Nobody has a Chris Norris. I mean, I could go on and on and on, but I don't care where you go in this industry, and I don't care what other company you know about, they don't have any of that. And like Robbie said, we're getting ready to be compliant, and a lot of them aren't. So you're probably going to be in a good recruiting season come very soon. In boot camp, you develop daily habits that foster putting you on the front lines to win. You are a soldier. You are here to fight for your family and for your financial freedom. You are here to win, and you should never, never give up. Daily habits that can help you face those challenges. I'm not sure who said it, but the first one for me would be prayer. Start every day with a prayer and end every night with a prayer. That's your choice. If you don't choose to pray, I don't care. I really don't. It's worked for us, though. I mean, it's worked really well. Read every day. And people are like, what do I read? Well, I don't want to say whatever you want to because I don't want you reading smut books all the time. But, I mean, sometimes a smut book is good. If you don't know what to read, ask. Ask somebody, what should I be reading? If you don't like to read, what you do is you just tear out 1 page a day, take it with you to the bathroom, don't take your phone, read that page front and back, you're done for the day. 1 page a day, 1 page a day. Audios are good, but it's not the same as reading. I'm sorry. I'll be like, have you read How to Think and Grow Rich? Well, I listened to it. That's not the question I ask you. I said, have you read Think and Grow Rich? Have you read How to Stop Worrying and Start Living? There is a difference. I recommend reading and listening to the same book. I really do. Your daily routine. What are you doing every day? What is your time management? If you were getting up and working for someone else, you would be on a strict schedule. Now that you work for yourself, are you on that same schedule? Do you get up at the same time? Do you do the same thing if you were going into an office? Do you get up and work in your pajamas, or do you get up and get showered and get dressed? Your daily routines matter. We have weekly calls, TWC, activity call, and product call. Put them on your calendar. And I'm still old school. I still have a big paper calendar. I love it because if I write it down, I remember it. If I put it in my phone, it takes me longer because I'm old and those things drive me crazy. And if I write it down, it stays here. So get a calendar, keep it. Get you an activity book. They sell them at the store. If you treat it like a job and not a hobby, you will get more money, I promise. Soldiers are disciplined. You are a soldier. You are here to fight, and you are here to win. You are to never, never, never give up. Second, to face the challenges with courage, and Beth said it last night, the 5P rule. And that's not go to the bathroom 5 times and pee. That's prior planning prevents poor performance. If you plan your day out and you write down what you're going to do, it's probably going to happen. And it's kind of fun to me to make a list and do it and check it off. Make a list, do it, and check it off. If it doesn't get checked off that day, just move it to the next day. To think you aren't going to experience challenges here in life is nuts. There is stuff everywhere. And y'all, I'll be the first to tell y'all, because Andy and I are probably the most at this, people are cray-cray. They are cray-cray, meaning they're crazy. We all have stuff people do, at least what I've observed we all do. All too knowingly, life happens, and sometimes it's called setbacks, chargebacks, backstabbers. They're out there. But if you're prepared to fight, you got this. Walt Disney said, all the adversity I've had in my life, all my failures and all my obstacles have done nothing but strengthen me. And that's what I would say for what goes on in life. Equip yourself with the armor of a soldier. Put on your imaginary helmet, your body armor, your chest and back plates, your soldier pauldrons, I think that's how you say it, your armored vest, your greaves, which are your leg protectors, your gauntlets, which are your hand and wrist protection, your boots, and any additional gear and harnesses that you might need designed to carry your weapons and your ammunition and your medical supplies. Your weapons and ammunition and medical supplies are already here for you. We have all the necessary tools for you to win the war. You just got to start fighting. I mentally have to suit up every day, number one, because I live with Andy. I know without a doubt that something's going to try to attack and defeat me every single day. So I'm gonna do the 5P rule. I'm gonna prior plan to keep that devil off my back. And sometimes when I wake up and he's sitting on my shoulder, I'm like, not today, baby. Not today. Not gonna happen. That's it. Not today, Satan. Because I am a soldier. I am here to fight for myself and for you. I'm here to win, and I'll never, never give up on myself or on you. You got to say it. You got to speak it. I'm a soldier. I'm here to fight. I'm here to win. I'll never give up. Some of the challenges we faced, I know you look at us now, and you know we have planes, cars. We don't have trains. Andy he does have one automobile. And you see all that stuff, but I want you to know we've experienced it. All that stuff can go away today, but all the relationships I have will not go. So it's not the stuff that matters. We've been broke. We've been broke and busted. When we moved back to North Carolina, we moved back in the house that Andy grew up in as a little boy. His dad built this house in 1962. His mom and dad lived there till maybe 90. 91, 92. The house sat empty for 3 years. So you know when something sits empty and things aren't used, they start to deteriorate and dilapidate. So Haley was 94, 96. Haley was 2. I was pregnant with Spencer when we decided to move back to the home that Andy grew up in. We moved back. He decided he wasn't going to work a job. I didn't want a job because I wanted to raise Haley, and I was pregnant. And this house needed a lot of work. It still had 1962 original windows. It still had 1962 doors. And it still probably had a maybe 1980 heat and air condition unit. So it didn't cool the best, it didn't heat the best, and it certainly didn't look the best. One thing that we learned in our other business was sometimes you got to delay gratification. And I know some of you are going to be like, what? That's crazy. This 1962-year-old home did not get remodeled until 2020 because we took all the money we were making and put it back to invest in the business. I still entertained people there. I was not happy with the way it looked, but I knew what the end goal was, and the end goal was to be able to fix it one day exactly like I wanted to. And in 2019, we had already added on some things, but the original house had not been redone. And I think it was 2019, we had a bad storm, the basement flooded, I lost tons of the kids' stuff in the basement, and I looked at Andy, I said, please tell me it's time. He said, it's time, go for it. And I was like, oh yeah. I remodeled it, it's nothing fancy at all, but I guarantee you, if you've been to my house or if you come to my house, my feeling for you is I want you to come in and I want you to feel the most comfortable you've ever felt. I want you to feel like you can sit down, put your feet on the couch. You can act like it's your house and do whatever you want. So like it's not a Taj Mahal or anything, but it sure is livable and I love it. Andy still doesn't know what I spent on it. It might have been, it might have hit 7 figures because you think about 1962, I redid all the plumbing, I redid all the electrical. The only thing I really kept original, I took out walls. I love taking out a wall. If it ain't a support wall and it ain't holding up the structure, it's coming out. I'm opening it up, baby, wide open. So I took out some walls, put some beams in. The only 2 original things I kept was Haley and Spencer's room that they had as children. I only moved the doors a little bit, and they have, of course, new windows, but their dad had laid original hardwoods in those 2 rooms, and we pulled up the carpet, and I saw it. I was like, oh, boy, I'm all about salvaging something, all about it. And I said, what do you think? And the guy said, well, it's got some spots on it. I don't know if it's going to. I said, oh, it's going to work. I said, you're going to sand it down, and we're going to restain it, and it's going to work. The spots, the bed cover. Who's going to see the spots that, yeah. I love them. They're my favorite floors in the house. So as Stephen Covey says, I am not a product of my circumstances. I'm a product of my decisions. If you're ever uncertain how to prepare, if you're ever uncertain about that PPPPP rule, don't go to the bathroom. Just ask your upline, what do I do? If you don't know who to ask, then ask, who do I ask? Like if you don't know who to ask something, go to Adam Katz and say, Adam Katz, who should I ask about so-and-so? Adam will tell you. Adam will be like, me, I'm the perfect person. Or he'll be like, oh, no, you need to go talk to Andy Riddle about that. Oh, no, Angela Riddle, she'll cover that for you. Oh, no, you need to go talk to Fitz. Fitz can answer that for you. So if you don't know who to ask, just ask somebody, who do I ask? The third thing to consider in being battle ready is to rely on the network of people that you have seen this weekend. There are relationships in this business that have lasted, for some people, have lasted lifetimes. Adam and Beth and I go back 30 plus years. Mike and Noel and I go back 15 plus years. Andy Riddle and I go back probably 15, 20 plus years. I was trying to figure out how far me and Deb Ben go back. I know it's at least 12, 14, I was close. And she and I met over a stupid pair of fake Coach sunglasses. How ironic is that? We still laugh about those sunglasses today. If you find a friend in this room, you have found a network of friends. If you make one friend here that you didn't know, you've made hundreds of friends. So you've just got to soldier up with some of these people, and you've got to be willing to fight. I don't like to name names, but I'm going to. So if I leave you out, it's not intentionally at all. But I'm going to start with Amber, because she's sitting in the very back right there, and I can see her beautiful smile. Like last night, Andy was like, come on, let's go, I'm ready. But it's like the first time in forever that I even got to like sit across from Amber and catch up with her. She used to work, when Missy moved out, Amber moved into Missy's office, and she was Andy's admin for I don't know how many years. And then when we moved to Florida, Amber's like, Andy's not there. What am I going to do? So then Andy said, hey, look, here's an opportunity. Are you interested in this? She's like, she didn't say no. She didn't know if she wanted to do that. She'd never done anything like that. She said, how about I go try, and then if it doesn't work out, we find something else. I think that's kind of how it went. And he said, okay. Well, she got over there, loved it. So it's like very seldom do Amber and I just get to see each other and just catch up on life. So, you know, I know that if something happened to me right now, I could call Amber and she'd say, give me 20 minutes to get Alexandra settled and I'll be right there. So that's the kind of friendships you want in this business. I've already mentioned Debbie Ben. Stupid pair of sunglasses, and it was at an employee's house that we were paying for at the time. And that house was way nicer than my house. I was not happy. I was not happy at all. But we were there for a get-together, and I think it's when your brother was still in the business and your sister. And she was just sitting there, and I don't know, I really did like her sunglasses. And I said, hey. And I said, I'm Jane. And she said, I can't talk like her because she's like up there, like Rhode Island. She said, I'm Deb. And I said, I really do like your sunglasses. And she just busted out laughing. I said, what's so funny? She said, they're not real. I said, what do you mean they're not real? She said, you ever been to New York? And I said, yeah. She said, they came off one of the back streets. I said, I don't care. I said, I don't care. I like them. Right. And she and I connected. We exchanged phone numbers, and here we are 14 years later. And I can tell you, she knows stuff that nobody else in this room knows on me, and I know stuff about her that nobody else in this room will ever know. And if y'all have seen Deb, stand up. I don't want to make I am going to make an example. If y'all look at her, we look a lot alike, don't we? Yeah, we look a lot alike. And people are like, how did y'all ever become friends? Y'all are totally opposite. And we're like, we don't know, but it works. So thank you, Deb. I don't know. I won't have anybody else stand up because I don't think they're all in the room. But Carrie Williams and I, those of you who were in their session, Carrie and I have gone through some dirt. I mean, Carrie and I withstood some times, a couple of years within the last 2 years, where there was a time when we were texting every day and then it stopped because a lot of negativity was going in places and I didn't really know how to handle it. And so I just prayed about it, and I was just thinking, you know what? I'm just going to let it be. If it is to be, it'll happen. And here we are 2 years later. We're past it all. We never had disagreement. We just knew at the time that we should take a break, and we took a break, and things are fine, and she and I have a great relationship. Belle Krause, Cassie Burbage. Cassie is one of my morning text buddies. Her and Angela Manzo. I might have missed this morning. Sorry, y'all. Oops. But there's a group of us that text each other every single morning. And my goal is to be the first one. Because I am up early because my dogs have to go to the bathroom early. And sometimes Mercedes is in that group and she'll text me back and she'll be like, it's early. You know, she's got that Colombian accent. I can tell her in her text, like every time she texts me, I hear her talking that to me. And I'm like, what'd you say? Say that again. Holly Davies, Rachel Osuna. I remember the first time meeting Marvin and Rachel and just talking with them and then their story. And I still y'all's talk about there's room at the table, and there's room at the table for everybody here. Angie Coleman. I can remember being so mad when they left. Oh, I was so mad. I was mad, but I think I was more sad because I had found a friend in Angie, and we had a lot in common. And then one of my commonalities was gone, and I'm like, they went over there. I might have said a cuss word or two, but anyway. But I didn't say any more cuss words than Angie did, right? Noelle Leventovich, Jeannie Abian, Belinda McKinnell, Veray Joseph, Angela Riddle. I remember Riddle telling me when he was going to propose to Angela, because he called me because he didn't want to text, because he didn't want to take a chance of Angela seeing his phone. He said, I think I'm going to ask her to marry me. I was like, it's about time. It's like, it's about time because you're getting ready to lose her, because I was getting ready to tell her. Yeah, I said, I was getting ready to tell her, if he don't put a ring on it, honey, you better just move on because, And I think I gave him the jeweler. He did pretty good on his own. And then he did send me a picture. He did send me a picture of the ring, and I said, all right. I said, delete it from your phone. I said, because she gets your phone, she's going to see that ring. And then he said, I need to ask you one more thing. And I said, what? He said, if I'm going to marry her, is it wrong for me to tell her that I need for her to talk to you more? And I said, I don't think it's wrong. I said, because I think Angela and I would get along really good. I said, but you don't demand it of her. And I'm not so sure he didn't do that. Because we all know Riddle. Yeah, we all know Riddle. But Angela and I, we're on the morning text still. Sarah Seifert, Michelle Alleman, all of you know the battle I think that Michelle's going through, and I've texted her this weekend. I texted her when Jonathan was up there this morning. And y'all, it's just the little things like that. When her son-in-law was up there talking this morning, I just sent her a picture because she did a lot of training of him. And I said, you would be so proud. We miss you. And she just sends back the little crying emoji with a heart, thank you. So it's just the tiniest of things that you can do to bring somebody in closer. And the last one I'm going to mention is Beth Katz. And I saved her for last because we've been around the longest. And I'm not even going to go into stories. I won't even look over there because it wouldn't even be fair to her or me. But she and I have a lot of history, a lot. And if Adam wasn't here, I would tell some stuff, but there's things that Beth has told me that I promised I would never let Adam know. I'm just kidding, Adam. I wouldn't do it. Because these are things that only Beth and I know. But I could call any, and I could name more. I'm dying to see Crystalline and their little thing that they've got developing here. And as I say these names, like I look at Tawny Walker, and Tawny Walker, like she's slowly coming into the circle. And like within the past, I would say 3 or 4 months, it's just every little inch helps. So like if you people are thinking, I want to be their friend, all you got to do, just inch. Just inch. And sometimes you don't have to say a word. Just come hang out. If we're hanging out, like I think about like last night when we're all sitting around the bar and just hanging out. After I got to the room, I said, holy crap. I didn't even take survey to see if there was somebody there we were leaving out. Because if it was, it's never intentional. All y'all got to do is just come up and stand. And then we'll say, oh, hey, come on in. So just so you know, if you see a group of us like hanging and talking out, you're welcome. Don't think we're ignoring you. It's just we're so excited to see each other and catch up. Y'all can do the same. Come join us. The bottom line of all of this is please don't ever give up the fight. There's so much to win here, and it's so much more than money. It's so much more than the nice things. A lot of it is what you can do with the money. Like Andy and I were talking, he doesn't have to do this anymore. I really think if he stopped today, I think in my heart we'd be okay financially. I mean, he has got to buy a new car, but, I still think we'd be okay. We're no different than any of you. There's just a few things that we've decided to do, and I'm going to let you know what they are. We've worked harder. We've loved deeper. We've lost immensely, and I'm talking relationships. We've invested abundantly. You know, I just told you we took a 1962-year-old home that we lived in and raised 2 children that was just remodeled 4 years ago. We delayed frequently. We studied daily. We gave freely. We've cried fiercely, sometimes with each other, me more often than him, I'm sure. We've failed repeatedly, but we bounced back quickly. We decided to change faster. Change is not fun at all. We listened intently. We forgave frequently. Each other a lot. We obsessed fanatically. We aimed higher. We focused intently. We sowed thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of seeds. We granted grace. We prayed daily, and we prayed fervently. We are soldiers. We are here to fight. We are here to win. And if you're counting on me and Andy Albright, we'll never, never give up. And no, neither should you.